Hi everyone, this is Noi, and in this video you will see that I will read aloud a book and I will find new words from what I've read and check it in this app. It's a word app. It's a word app applications, and I use it a lot when when I find a new words from the book that I read. This is the book that I read. Luciana. It's a third version, a third series, the third series. Well, you can check it. Yeah, this is the third series. And let's start. Atacama Desert. It's a sector 7. The helicopter hovered a few feet above a clear spot on the sand and slowly lowered. We landed with a bump, and once the captain gave us the okay, we tore off our headsets and dropped out of the side door. I ducked under the rudders and put my shirt over my mouth and nose like Mr. Jacobs and Claire did to avoid the swelling desert dust, which had been kicked up by the helicopter. Mr. Jacobs turned on a flashlight so we could see our way to the habitat, but the moon and stars above were so bright that we almost didn't need his light to navigate over the rocky terrain. I stopped for a moment to gaze at the sky, and Claire crashed into me. "Oh, sorry," I said, "but look up." Claire craned her neck. "What is craned?" Let's check. Craned.
Crane.
Craned. Craned. To stretch out one's body or neck in order to see something. She had to crane her neck to see the movie screen. I see. Crane. Let's continue. Claire craned her neck, and we both took in the biggest and brightest night sky I had ever seen in my life. "Wow!" I whispered. "Just wow!" "Let's go, girls," Mr. Jacobs called. Claire put me toward the habitat, where the glow of the soft lights from inside poured out the windows and onto the dark desert ground. No signs of life, except for us. The Mars habitat was a white cylinder on legs, with modules sticking out on all sides. We walked past a tented area. What is tented?
Tented.
Tented. Tented area. Tented. The Potomac. I see. Tented.
To put up or make a tent. For example, we tented near the lake for the night.
I see. We walked past a tented area set up like a laboratory, and I slowed down so I could take a better look inside. But Claire grabbed my hand, urging me to move ahead. We walked up, we walked up a wide ramp to the first module, where Mr. Jacobs held the door for us, our bags slung over his arm. As I looked back over my shoulder at the desert, I could actually imagine being on Mars. We stepped inside, and Mr. Jacobs pushed the door closed against the gusty wind. "Welcome to the Aloud," he said. The Aloud.
Airlock.
The Aloud. Udara. Welcome to the Aloud. he said. If we were in space, this is where the astronauts would come and go for their EVAs or spacewalks. Both doors are sealed, so when this one is open to space, he pointed to the door we just came from, it doesn't contaminate the entire habitat. Claire waited impatiently by the other door. We really only have to worry about dust here, though, he said, motioning Claire forward. We each grabbed our bags, stamping our feet on a mat, and stepped through the door that led to the main module of the habitat. Two women and a man were sitting at the table and they looked up and smiled as we entered. Lance, the man said, and then they were all shaking hands and hugging Mr. Jacobs like they were long-lost buddies. Claire and I stood next to Mr. Jacobs and I thought, how cool would it be to have a dad that was friends with a bunch of NASA scientists? I was hoping you'd come, one of the women said, hugging Claire. Did you have a nice Christmas? She nudged Mr. Jacobs. Did you get her the telescope I was telling you about? I got a new computer instead, Claire said. The lady giving Mr. Jacobs a disapproving look. But I downloaded the app to track curiosity. I knew about the app. You could actually see where the Mars rover, Curiosity, was at any moment. The lady smirked at Claire. Well, okay, I guess that's better than nothing. And then she turned to me. And who is this? This is my friend, Luciana Vega, Claire said. It's so nice to meet you, Luciana, the scientist replied. My name is Vanessa Reeve. She was wearing a blue shirt that said CETA's program on it, and I caught my breath. Have you been to CETA's? I asked her. She looked down at her shirt. Oh, do you know CETA's? Wait, did you go to the training camp with Claire? I nodded. She was on the dive team, Claire said, smiling at me. She was awesome. I looked at Claire with surprise, knowing how much she had wanted a spot on that team herself. Thanks, Claire. It really meant a lot coming from her, considering everything that happened at camp. See, I was right. Claire was so different than the girl I knew at camp, and that was why I believed in giving people a second chance. Vanessa clapped her hands together. Yes, I know exactly who you are. I saw your name in the logbook. Luciana, future for girl, future, future first girl to Mars. I blushed and stuffed my hands in my pockets. There was a big log. There was a logbook on the underwater habitat, and if you met the dive team and visited cities, you got to sign the book. That's what I had written. That's what I had written next to my name. Future first girl to Mars. I had a dream when I was your age too, Vanessa said. And then she opened up her arms and motioned around the habitat. It took some work, but here I am. She came in closer. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't make it happen. The guy next to her snorted. Your dream was to live in a tin can in the middle of the desert for 10 days. Vanessa smacked him on the shoulder, and then he extended his hand to me. Rick Page, and it's very nice to meet you. And then he whispered, I was just kidding. This place is awesome. This place is awesome. My name is Pia, the third scientist said. I'm a geologist from a nearby Universidad de Antofagasta. She smiled at me. Silena, she pointed from me to her. She was Chilean too. See, I said. Bienvenidas. Oh, I don't know how to spell it. How to spell Spanish. I think it's Spanish. Welcome, she said to me and Claire. Want a tour of this place? Yes, please, I said, with a little too much enthusiasm. The habitat had 3 modules. We were standing in the main core, where Mr. Jacobs and the other 2 scientists were now sitting around the table. there was a robotics and science lab module attached at one end and a hygiene module at the other end. The hygiene module is what most people would call a bathroom. But since we were out of in since we were out in the middle of the desert and there was no running water, we had an incinerating toilet. What is it incinerating? Have you ever heard incinerating? Inciner oh no, there's no word. Oh I typed it wrong. Incinerate.
Incinerate.
Oh, incinerate. Incinerate. Oh, I'm reviewing this, but I still forgetting. Incinerating toilet and sponge bath station instead. For the first time, I was actually a little relieved that we'd only be here for 2 nights. The core module was 2 stories high. The galley, which is what the kitchen is called, and the communication station were on the first floor. Pierre taught us where to find the fire extinguisher, satellite phone, extinguisher,
Extinguish.
extinguisher, extinguisher, extinguish, extinguish,
Extinguish.
extinguisher, extinguisher, satellite phones, flashlights, and the first aid kit. In case you find yourselves in trouble, she said. We're only going to be here for a day and a half, I thought to myself. How much trouble could we get into? Then Pia pointed to a ladder that would bring us up to the crew quarters at the top of the cupola. Oh, I don't know how to spell it. Let's try it first, cupola. What is cupola? Oh, there is X.
Cupola.
Cupola. Cupola. The cupola. The tall domed structure. Claire and I would share a sleeping pod, which was big enough for a narrow bunk bed, squeezed against the cushioned walls. Cozy, Claire said, and I felt my stomach flip. Tight spaces made me nervous. How about you take the bottom bunk? How about you take the bottom bunk? Claire suggested. We'll keep the curtain to our pod open, okay? She helped me wedge my duffel at the foot of my bed, and look, there's a window. She pointed to the ceiling outside our sleep quarters, and I noticed the cupola, a dome of windows at the top of the habitat. We said goodnight to the scientists and put on our pajamas. Claire climbed up to her bed, and before long I heard her soft snoring. For the first time all day, I felt a flicker of homesickness. I pulled out my grandpa's toy car and thought about Abuelita sleeping in one of my aunt's guest rooms rather than in her own bed. I cradled the car against my chest and settled in, digging myself under my blankets. From my bed, I could see trillions of stars in the sky twinkling through the windows of the cupola. And even though I was really in a tin can in the middle of the Atacama Desert, I had never in my entire life felt so close to being in space. Okay, that's it. No, it's finished. It's chapter 7. Well, by the way, I'm Nui. I'm from Indonesia, and currently I'm documenting my practice in English by reading aloud. And while reading aloud, sometimes I meet sometimes I saw, sometimes I find new words, and I like to know. I like to understand the book better. We need to know the words. We need to understand the words, so we can get understand what the book say. So I use word up applications. And for you who learn English too, let's practice it again. Let's let's keep it up. Stay practicing, and I'm sure that we in the future can be better in English. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you want. I mean, please subscribe to support me for making the videos. Thank you.